Hello, welcome back to the breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out from Europe, and we're also going to talk about Ukraine in this video, along with U.S. President Donald Trump, as we have a new report today that the chairs of foreign affairs committees of multiple parliaments inside of Europe, including Ukraine, are now issuing a joint statement today to warn U.S. President Donald Trump on negotiating with Putin. And also, take a look at your screen here. We'll show you this report. European lawmakers warned Trump not to repeat mistakes of Munich 1938. The chairs of foreign affairs committees of the parliaments of UK, France, Czech Republic, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Ukraine issued a joint statement urging Trump to not negotiate with Russia. So, if you're not familiar with the Munich 1938, this was an agreement and a deal that was signed on September 30th, 1938, in Munich, Germany, between Germany, Great Britain, France, and Italy, and it allowed Germany to annex the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia in exchange for Hitler's promise of no further territorial demands in Europe. The agreement was a key example of appeasement, where these nations tried to avoid war by giving in to Hitler's demands. So, based on everything we've been talking about, US President Donald Trump, doesn't that sound very similar to what's happening with Russia right now and the US? I mean, the US is heavily giving in to Russia's demands, wanting to hand over Crimea to Russia, wanting to give Russia control of the territories that they have inside of Ukraine. And it definitely seems very similar, doesn't it? So I actually want to show you guys this official report coming out today from these chairs of the foreign affairs committees of multiple parliaments in Europe, warning Donald Trump on his negotiations with Putin and letting him know and reminding him that he should be standing up for Ukraine and Ukraine's territorial integrity and their sovereignty instead, versus trying to negotiate some sort of deal with Vladimir Putin. So let's go ahead and jump on over here real quick to Ukrainska Pravda. Parliaments of 7 countries remind Trump of consequences of negotiating with war criminal Putin. This coming out today, April 25th, 2025. Here's a picture of Trump and Putin here in the past. And it says right here, chairs of foreign affairs committees of European parliaments have issued a joint statement calling on U.S. President Donald Trump and the U.S. Congress to demonstrate true leadership in confronting Russia. The document was signed by 7 chairs of foreign affairs committees, including the chairman of the Ukrainian committee, Oleksandr Merezko, if I'm saying that correctly. Among the signatories were also the chairs of foreign affairs committees of France, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and the United Kingdom, who were later joined by their Czech counterpart. Against the backdrop of recent developments related to the negotiation process and Russian strikes on Ukraine's civilian population, the chairs of foreign affairs committees of several European parliaments issued a joint statement in which they called things by their name and addressed President Trump and the U.S. Congress, Moresco told European Pravda. So these are some of the statements that were coming out on this actual document. But I'm going to show you guys a statement here. They've actually got it posted. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and dissect this together. Joint statement of the chairs of foreign affairs committees, April 25th, 2025. And it says right here, we, the chairs of the foreign affairs committees of European parliaments, call upon President Trump and the U.S. Congress to demonstrate true leadership in confronting the global threat posed by Russia as an aggressor state. We urge an end to the policy of appeasement and call instead for a united, resolute stance against Russia's terrorist regime. We strongly warn against yielding to its blackmail and deception. Strong leadership is also needed across European countries, along with reinforced transatlantic solidarity. We call on European countries to immediately confiscate Russia's frozen assets and redirect them to support Ukraine. There can be no compromise and no external pressure on Ukraine regarding its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We call upon the United States and other NATO members to admit Ukraine into NATO without delay. We urge the EU member states to accelerate Ukraine's accession to the European Union. We must not repeat the mistakes of Munich in 1938. Negotiating with war criminal Putin is evidently futile. His main objective is to undermine and humiliate our ally, the United States. We call upon all states to ensure that Vladimir Putin and all those complicit in his work and his crimes are brought to justice. Lasting peace and security are impossible without accountability for war crimes committed by his regime. So you can see here the different chairs of foreign affairs committees. Pavel Fischer here from the Czech Republic, Bruno Fuchs, if I'm saying that right, from France, Oleksandr Moresko from Ukraine, Marko Mikkelsen from Estonia, and Remigijus, not sure how to say this, Motuzas from Lithuania, Nara Murunis in Latvia, and Emily Thornberry from the United Kingdom. Okay, so major statement coming out today, guys, from these foreign affairs committee chairmen. So yeah, just major statements here. I mean, just starting from here, strong leadership. Obviously, that's a major thing that's needed to put an end to this. Calling on European countries to immediately confiscate Russia's assets. So these frozen Russian assets that are sitting in European banks, give it over to Ukraine. That's something that's been talked about for a long time, but there's been no real moves on that. Compromising on Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. This is talking about about Crimea. This is talking about the other four regions: Zaporizhia, Kherson, also Luhansk region and Donetsk region inside of Ukraine. Don't give that up to Russia. Russia should completely pull out of Ukraine. And also Ukraine getting into NATO. So they're calling on United States and NATO members to bring Ukraine into NATO immediately. And also, in terms of the European Union, they want Ukraine to have an accelerated or fast-tracked way into the EU as well, get them into the European Union, and not repeating the mistakes of the Munich 1938 agreement with Hitler back during prior to World War II, right? And that obviously, look at the way that worked out. That started a world war, okay? So just a major statement, guys. Wanted to share this information with you and let you know about this joint statement of the chairs of foreign affairs committees today, and let's see if it happens to make an impact. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I think more countries probably need to jump on board with this, but this is how it begins. Maybe there'll be some sort of major pushback here, and Europe can get involved to influence the United States to change their position and their stance and the way they're dealing with this war, especially with this whole negotiating with Putin thing is a pretty insane thing, and a lot of people don't agree with that. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this information, though, and share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comments section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.